And now it's time for the latest exciting episode of Doz's Television Workshop.
Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be taking a look at this Bush TV12 from the very early 50s, might even be 40s. We will have to date it. You'll have to excuse the fact that the 3D printer is on the bench. Unfortunately, that's broken its hot end, and I just need it to finish another job, so I stuck it on the end of the bench just so we can make a start on the Bush TV, because there's some preliminary things we need to do before we can get anywhere near applying power. So let's get into it. Right, so in I'm going to call it a recent poll, but by the time you see this, it was probably months ago. I did put out a poll of 4 different television sets we might be able to have a look at, and this old girl came out top. So I bought this probably about 5 years ago from eBay, and it had a lovely little story behind it. And I bought it from a lovely couple in Warsaw. And it had been in their attic for many years, and it belonged to the guy's father, who had bought it because apparently Warsaw football team were in some sort of cup that year, and it didn't have a TV set, and he wanted very much to be able to watch it on the telly. So he went out and bought this. He thinks it was 50s, so maybe it wasn't a new set. Maybe it's very early 50s. I don't know. Maybe I should look up the history of Warsaw Football Club and have a look at it. But yeah, it is of some vintage. So you can see, I mean, the design is inherently identical to the TV12, which came after it. The knobs, I think, are slightly different. The mask is a different shape. And unfortunately, this mask is in a very different shape because the rubber has started to degrade, and I suspect we'll find this might be adhered to the tube and does all manner of damage to itself when we try and get it apart. But get it apart we must. So hopefully the tube's all right. We will find out shortly. If you're watching in the States, by the way, when I say tube, I mean CRT. And when I say valve, I mean tube. Right, on the rear, TV type, TV12B, in like a label that's almost been added on as a bit of an afterthought. Width control, focus height, vertical form, mains on the usual 2-pin Bush-style connector, contrast, interference limiter, sound sensitivity, dipole aerial in a Belling Lee socket, as Bush were very keen on using. Not like Pi with their sort of 2 banana plug sort of efforts. We have got ordinary slotted screws, which are a little bit, I'm feeling like they're rusted in there a bit, but we'll get them out. I suspect it's the same as the Bush TV22. That one has been cut, look. Somebody obviously lost one at one stage and found a longer one that didn't fit. This part of the back appears to be broken. Oh, that screw is super seized in there. That's not keen on coming out at all. Oh, there it goes. We're away. Oh, and the back has disintegrated around it. Yeah, okay. I shall keep those bits. And there's plenty of rust coming out of here. Always worries me, a bit of rust. Means the set's been somewhere damp, doesn't it? But, well, we'll see what we can see. I'm not sure this screw's actually coming out. I'm not sure it's actually holding the back on either. No, it's pulled the threads out of the Bakelite. We can do something with that. I'm going to keep these bits. Let's get a pop for the parts. And does this going to slide out? Ooh. No, it would appear we've got one screw in the chassis. Lots of lovely thick dust in there. Look at that. What's the CRT base? Is loose as usual. Jolly good, but we know how to deal with that. I'm just going to tilt the set on its side so we can get these screws out the bottom. See how many remain. By the way, it hasn't been stored in the damp for the last 5 years. It's been in my wife's office, actually. Out of the way, so yeah, there we go. That screw came out all right. Let's fetch the back off. By Jove, is that a layer of dust? That is a layer of dust. Oh my word, look at the state of that. Good to see though, it means it hasn't been got at. Right, we've got some made in the USA valves. There'll be an EF something or other. Yeah, wow. It's all going on in there, and I can see the sort of signs of it has been damp in the past. I'm just going to hoover this dust up before it goes everywhere. Right, written on the aerial socket, I have the word Sutton Coalfield. So clearly the Midlands transmitter. Excellent. That does give me a problem with one of my standard converters. Unfortunately, the one I've built for this job, but we'll switch it to Sutton Coalfield. Right, chassis held on with one screw there, one there, one there, and one there. Identical to the TV12 really. So I suspect the speaker's different though. It's a round speaker and it's at an angle there. So the sound obviously comes out through the grill in the front, but the speaker is rounded at an angle with all this space around it. Most interesting. So yeah, we've got the same MO with the knobs as the Bush TV12, so we're going to have to undo the screws on those to get them out. If I can see them amongst the dust in there. There's the screw, I see it. Okay. I hate that they're a bit of an angle, these things. It's a pain just to get to, but oh, go on. Here we go. Oh no, that's come out nicely. No signs of woodworm in the side of the chassis, which is nice. Right, is that going to come out now? Yeah, I think so. That should just ease out the way, I think. Or am I going to have to take the screw all the way out? No, it's coming. It's coming. There we go. One. And the same with the volume control down here. There we go. Right, two knobs. Brightness and volume etched into them. You see that? There we go. Lovely. Right, now we try and get the chassis out. Okay, 4 screws. This one's coming out very easily. Missing its washer. I mean, let's make no doubt about it. This set will have had many repairs in its life, I would have thought. It's usually an earth wire, isn't there? So, oh my goodness, the insulation has utterly, it's gone all hard and it's just breaking up. And yeah, somebody's just wrapped it round, but you can see that on there, but that's just completely degraded and gone hard. Right, let's see how keen it is on coming this way. Oh, okay. Much easier than I thought it would be. Ah, so the mask is coming with us. That's okay. I'm going to spin that round so I can extract the case. There it is. Oh yeah, that mask has Oh, it's like stone. And more dust and filth in the cabinet. We'll be dealing with that at another time. I'm just going to pop it outside. Very much a similar layout to the TV12, with the exception of sort of two chassis design. Valve lineup is very different. We've got a lot of octals up here. We do have some sub-miniature valves, EL42 there and something else. Lots of waxy capacitors everywhere. Interesting, there's a clean bit there. Wonder if there's a label that's gone missing somewhere. That would have said Mullard on it, wouldn't it? I'm not inclined to test the tube until we can make sure the base is alright, maybe. But what I do need to do is just pass some current through the line output stage, just to drive off any moisture. The other thing we've got down here, you can see that there, that's an EHT smoothing capacitor, because I don't believe this tube has a DAG. Maybe it does actually. No, I don't think it does. So it is a DAG-less tube. So they add a bit of capacitance into the EHT output there. Again, this wiring's, oh, it's all absolutely shot. This is going to be a lot of work to get this to even be anywhere near the state we can put power into it. And we have the valve that saved the war, I suspect. Jeez, we've got a lot of filth in here. Which escapes me at the moment. EF80, no, EF36, something like that. Little red pillar box there. Yeah, the valve they sorted the UK sort of radar with back in the Second World War. It was revolutionary. See, the line output transformer here is in a can of its own. So I think I am just going to pause here, work out how to drive some current through the output transformer and try and dry it out a bit. And yeah, so I'm just going to step over, see if I can find a schematic. I'm sure I've got one. And yeah, then we can move on to maybe warming that up. Right, well, I've had a look on my computer and I thought I had a schematic for this set, but I don't. So I've left a message on the very wonderful VRAT forum, see if anybody's got one. But something I do remember, and I must have had a look at the circuit diagram at times in the past, is that the line output transformer, which is in this can here, is in two parts. This being the sort of impedance matching end of life in this can, and then the EHT winding being utterly separate in this top thing here. Let me just get wobbly cam just to show you. So yeah, there you can see the can. And this part here is the line out, is the EHT overwind. That's the bit I'm concerned about, especially looking at some of the corrosion we've got in here. Obviously, this has been a little bit wet in the past. The other thing I found is I did find, obviously that label had fallen off, and I managed to find it. It was right down the side of the bowl, and it is an MW22-17 tube. So that's good news. So I think what I've got to do, just to at least warm the EHT overwind up, is pass some DC from that tag there, which comes from the top of our PL line output bottle there. It'll be a PL38, won't it, or whatever. Yeah, I can't see a label on it yet until we clean things up. And this, anyway, that contact there, which is the top cap, and this one here, which goes to that pin there, the EHT rectifier tube just there. So let's pass a bit of DC through that and at least get that underway, and then maybe look at measuring the tube. Maybe we can do that today, just to see if it's got any emission. But right, let's pass just a little bit of DC through there. Right, so crocodile clips from the lab power supply. And let's turn that on and just draw a little current. Right, I'm just going to do a calculation just to see how much power is passing there, because I don't want to go too mad. We only want 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 watts going through that coil. So right, so it's about 3.6 watts, so that's ideal. Now this tube base is loose on the neck here. I'm just gonna see if I can gently ease the connector off. Yeah, that's seized on there as well. Oh no, it's coming. There we go. Right, let's just dust that off a bit and see if we've got heaters in a moment. I'll get the leader out because this will be a triode tube, and the leader generally does a bit of a better. Look at the filth on there. That is thick, isn't it? Oh, it's horrible. This might actually be one to even contemplate removing the tube on. Let's get a bit of in fact, I'm just going to moisten this with a bit of water just to clean that up. See if it'll clean up nicely. The answer is no. I can see the gun enough, I think, to spot when the heaters are glowing. So let me get the data for the MW, what was it, 22-17, hook up the leader, see if there's any life in it. There we go, let's oh, wish the 3D printer was done and out the way. Anyway, there we go. I should put my universal adapter on here somehow. There we go. Turn everything down to start with. Let's see what we get, if anything. Right, first 2 things are going to be the heaters, which according to the book, heaters are in between those 2 pins there. See if we've got that right. 6.3 volts, and yeah, there's a glow in there, so that's good. So now all I've got to do, what's to the left of the heater is the grid. Cathode being that one there, and then the first anode, which I think is that one there. Right, let's have a laugh, shall we? Right, so heater volts there coming up to 6.3. Let's dim the workshop lights. You may be able to see a slight glow in the neck. I can. It is through the filth in there. A little bit more voltage there. 6.3, right, heater cathode leakage. That's a good sign. That's okay. Set G1 voltage. We want about 45 volts. Set cutoff. Oh, there's nothing. No cutoff at all. Let's go to read emission just for a laugh. Yeah, no emission whatsoever. Let me just check and confirm my wiring. Right. Have I made a monumental mistake? 6.3 volts. Leakage is good. G1 is set correctly. Cutoff. Oh, we've got cutoff. I must have had it wired up wrong. What a Burke. There's cutoff. There's the emission. By the cringe, it's a belter. Do I always get... Is there something wrong with the leader? miffed because the Pi read great, my TV12 read great, but I have to say, speak as you find. Generally, this thing's pretty good. Every time I've read a good tube, it's come up to be a good tube. With the exception, of course, for the Philips, which read really badly, but still produced a blisteringly good picture. Yeah. That's a stunning tube. Good. Right, well, I am going to leave just the bit of heat going through this output winding. Yeah, I can just feel that's getting warm now. So that's good. We can leave that connected for the next while. Next few days probably. Hopefully by that stage I'll have managed to procure a diagram. And we can start thinking about the next stage, the next steps to make. A lot of this wiring is really bad. It's crispy. So yeah, we need to make some decisions there. I need to hoover the thing out because that is foul. But yeah, let's let it cook for a few days. Right, see you then. Right, well, it's the following day. I need to move the set off the bench because the bits have arrived from my 3D printer, but I left the coil on overnight, and you can see that on the top camera there, but it is nice and warm in there. Got about 100 degrees. That might be just a little bit too warm actually. I'm just going to back the current down a little bit. I'm just going to have a clean up of the chassis there just to try and remove some of that dust and grime and horrible. So yeah, let's do that, and then I'm going to move it off the bench, do something else, and we'll come back in a few minutes. But yeah, let's just remove most of this dust, or some of this dust. It's a little bit horrible, and I don't want to spread it around the workshop really, so let's just hoover it up. Wow, that's a little bit better. Look at all the filth that's in there. That does appear that the top of the chassis is actually in quite reasonable condition. There's a bit of pitting there through corrosion and what have you. Top of this valve holder here is very rusty. But yeah, these red valves, by the way, I think they're EF50s. And if you Google EF50, you'll find it's called the valve that saved the war, or won the war or something. But it was developed for radar use. So yeah, nothing much had moved on. I still haven't got a date for this set. I can't see a date code on anything. Or maybe that is down there. You just have a little look at that. "147", don't know what that means. Maybe a date code and I can't read all of it. Other thing to note is this valve holder spring arrangement here that sort of holds the PL into the valve holder. Appears to have just been lying there for years, doesn't it? Anyway, there we go. Right, I am going to move the set out of the way, do another job, and I'll see you lot in a minute.
Several days later.
Right, it's a few days later. I've had the line output transformer warming. I've disconnected it now, but that has had several days. Well, at least the EHT section at the top here has had several days to warm. Next thing I think I want to do is have a little reform of the capacitors. And just like the TB22, which has got one, I think, this has got two down the front here. And we've got the smoothing choke over here, but it's got no swing capacitor like the Bush, probably hence the extra capacitance. According to the VRAP forum, somebody came up and said I can actually, if I've got a TV22, is use the signals chassis from a Mark 1 TV22 in here and it will work fine. So yeah, I do have a TV22. Trouble is, it's a slightly later one with the miniature valves in the RF deck. So I'm not quite sure whether that one will work, but we'll see how we get on. So that's that disconnected. Once again, this wiring is all horrible. You just get, this is probably the video lead. If it's the same as the TV12 chassis, it just comes up on a little canal doodah here, which has seized solid. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of this, I think. That's the video output from the Signals chassis. So there we go. Right, 2 screws, same as the TV12 Signal chassis, and then that should allow that to just slide out. There it comes. Wow. It's filthy. Look at the state of that. Lots of EF50s made in the USA, a lot of them. A lot of them look ex-military. They've got the VR symbol on there. Sylvania, VR91, Air Ministry. There were a lot of valves around after the war. Surplus. So, yeah. Whether they were fitted originally by Bush or they were fitted subsequently, I don't know. But right, I'm just going to turn the chassis gently on its side. And we can see in here, oh my goodness, we have got a lot going on. Yeah, let me just throw some light in there. So hopefully you can see a bit better. We've got lots of horrible waxes. Some look like they've been very warm in the past. And some electrolytics that are looking horribly perished, I have to say. And acres and acres of rubber wiring. Thankfully it's not all rubber, but a lot of it looks like it is. Okay, so I want to disconnect that electrolytic, probably this one. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. Again, lots of really unpleasant rubber wiring. The speaker is bizarre. It's like pressed into one assembly. Oh, the speaker's mounted from this side, look. How bizarre. That really is a little unusual. Right, I think I'm going to remove the whole speaker assembly just to allow a bit more access in there. Hopefully that'll be also allow us to get some footage other than staring into a dark hole, won't it? Yeah, that's going to leave me with a problem of stability. I think what I'm going to go and do is just get a clamp. So I'm going to move this to the edge of the bench and then put a clamp on there. Just so I repeatedly bang my knee on it, I've no doubt. There, right, we've got some rubber wiring. It's actually quite supple on the speaker. Let me just disconnect it from here. Alright, that's the speaker disconnected. Yeah, that's filthy. I've got a dead spider and all sorts. Let's just give that a very quick birthday. Right, I'm going to put that out of the way for a minute. I'm just going to put all the nuts and bolts back through so I know where they are. Just going to hold on to my clamp. I'm actually quite liking the angle of the dangle of this, so I might just leave it there. So that capacitor there needs to come out. Is that on a... Wonder if we just remove those two screws. They're on nuts. What are those two on? Those are on sort of captive nuts. That might be a little bit easier. Ah, yeah, because this will fold out the way. Okay, let's try that. Or do I want to remove one of these first? I'm going to go with this one. It's right in front of me. Right, let's take that out of there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we have got two wires. There's a red one in the way, and that always the case. Oh, and it's filthy. Right, okay, what have we got going on the bottom? It's a TCC 60 microfarads, 350 volts, no date. How disappointing. Okay, I wonder if I just remove that red wire. That's PVC, that wire. The height of modernity. Or can I ease it out underneath the transformer here? This transformer's loose, look. That must be the frame output transformer, I think. I think it was there on the 22, wasn't it? Oh, that's going to be right in the way there. Oh, it's never easy, is it? I'm going to pop that. What am I leaning on when I fall back that way? Oh, I'm not actually leaning on the tube. It's on the inductor, so I'm not that bothered about it. Right, we've got one bit of rubber wire anyway, and we've got... Oh, nope. That's the end of that capacitor. One of the tags has just completely sheared off. Oh, it's rotten through. Okay. Right, in that case then, I'm going to cut the other side off. Oh yeah, he's absolutely shot away. There's no point in attempting to reform that. Bulged. Perished. Absolutely shot. Yeah, okay, so yeah, the red is the one that's sheared off there, and the ground is the other side. Okay, let's give it a little clean, see if there's a date on it, and then I'm going to have to restuff that. So yeah. Oh, December 18, December 48. December 48. This set was either built in 1948 or 49 then. Oh wow, that's incredible. I think that's the oldest set I've ever done. 48. Is that going to take off the... It's all pitted, look, it's really bad. December 48. Yeah, that's just corroded. Right, so now we have to do the degutsing of it. I'll make a cap for the end, and then we'll put a modern component inside and refit that in there. This is going to be a long job, isn't it? There we go. It's probably only two of these. I shan't bother with these smaller ones in here. A lot of these are waxes. They can have nice antique radio supplies ones in there. They'll be lovely. And the other electrolytics, we'll just get electrolytic. I noticed, I don't think you see that on camera in there. Let me throw some light at the subject again. There's a resistor there that looks like it's been very hot under the collar. The rest of it doesn't look too shabby in here really. There's the usual electrolytics that are shot. And it's filthy, but yeah, 1948. Amazing. Right. So let's get this in bits. I'm going to start by sort of gouging around there with a can opener and see if we can't just pull the interior out. Right. Yeah, so what I've got to do is I've got to cut round this seal. What I might try and do is just get in there with a nasty pair of cutters and see if I can splay it up a bit and then just pull the inside out. Yeah. Sometimes it's just as easy to sort of remove that ridge with a pipe cutter and get it all out, but let's try and preserve it as much as possible. I think it wise to don a pair of gloves at this point. Right, so I've sort of unpeened that end, and what I'm now going to do is I'm going to boil a kettle, make some tea, and then I'm going to submerge this in some boiling water, not in my tea, because the chances are that the foil and electrolyte, that all have dried up now, but it will have been encased inside here and sort of bonded in with pitch. So if we can soften that, it'll make our job of getting the guts out a lot easier. So I'm going to go and do that. Right, well, this is still hot and I haven't had my tea yet, but I just want to get this apart. I did put some soapy water in with the boiling and cleaned it up a bit. Managed to clean most of the date off like a pillock though, but it looks a bit better, doesn't it? So what I want to do is I just want to drill a small hole in the top, smack bang in the centre if I can find the drill. And there it is. Right, straight down the middle. And that took no effort whatsoever. And you can see on the end of the drill bit there's a lot of horrible pitch looking stuff. Right. Then get yourself your workshop corkscrew. This is not used ever for undoing wine. And just barrel that in there. And then attempt to extract the contents of the capacitor out your hole. Right, it's either work or it won't. Not quite sure we're going to be lucky this time. Oh, we are. Yes, we are. Come on. Out you come. As you can see, it's all starting to come to fruition. What I really want is a slide hammer or something like that, but brute force it is. Yes. Well, it's starting to come. That's good news. I'm going to give that another dose of boiling water. Right, whilst that is cooking again, I've just had a rummage in my box and I've got this 56 mic for 50 volts. We want 60 mic, that's as near as we're going to get. So the only thing is it's not new. So I'm just going to get it on the old Dreadnought yeah, see how we get on with it. So the Dreadnought capacitor reformer, if you haven't seen this before, it's just a current limited thing that we hang across a variac and an isolation transformer just to reform a capacitor of unknown vintage. Right, we can't exceed 450 volts rectified with the UK mains, so we can just give this the beans. This, by the way, the meter here is in microamps. Right, that's 230 odd volts, 234. lower the resistance till we get to about, this is microamps of 700 milliamps, so that's charging up nicely. We're just going to leave that on for a few minutes, and every time this drops down, we can then go down a range and let it charge up. We will then discharge it and have a little measure to make sure it's all right. Right, I'm leaving that for a minute. Right, that's been on the reformer now for about 10 minutes or so. I'm just going to switch the power off. As you can see, it's consuming almost no current. I'm just going to put some resistance back in there and click to discharge. So that will now discharge. We shall wait till that falls away to a sensible value. Over range, it should drop off fairly quickly. There we go. Resistance ranges are written on the side here on this wonderful label that you can see. There we go. We should be safely discharged now. So let's just pop it on the peak and see if it's any good or not. .51.3 microfarads, 0.75 ohms. Just do that again. Yeah, so a little bit short of our 56, but no, isn't good enough health that'll at least get us going. So that'll do. Right, onwards with the removal of the guts. Yeah, we may need to just drill another bit of a hole down in there. Oh, it's very free now though. You can see it all sort of sliding around in there. Yeah, it's not wanting to come out very easily though. The other way I've done it before is just to jam a great big fat sort of wood screw in there and grab hold of that and pull it out. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're on. Ah, yeah. They're either easy or they're not. And this one, not so much. There we go. Finally, we've hollowed it out. So just get rid of the last bits of detritus in there. Oof. It did leak a lot of water into it, which is generally a good sign when you're trying to get these things cleaned out. You could see air bubbles fizzing out, and that means water's getting in. So that's generally good news. Last bit of pitch on the outside. Not that I need to be too particular about it. Right, it's pretty good. Yep, so now I need to make a new cap for just in there. So I think I'm going to 3D print that and mount the new capacitor in, which will fit easily. The miniaturization of modern electronics continues to work in our favour. So once I've done that, we will, yeah, we can restuff it, put it back in the set, and then probably repeat the process for those other two. We'll see what they're like. I've 3D printed a cap for my cap. So the plan here is I've got a selection of screws, nuts and washers and tags and things, and I'm just going to put 2 tags, I'm just going to bend them slightly to start with, in through there, a locking washer on there, through my tag, another washer for good luck, through there, another washer for good luck, another lock washer. I'm going to need some nuts, aren't I? Failure to get the nuts, right, bear with. Cut them 3 nuts there. I need to put another tag on. There we go, so I've got a tag either side. So far on one side, let's do the other side. There we go, so I'll just solder my new cap to the tags, bend that up so it's up out the way a bit, and then fit it into the can. Need to mark up which one's positive. Let's get it soldered on. And there's our new cap ready to go inside our old cap. Let's position these tags into something sensible and tighten up the screws here. And I'm going to take my red paint marker and just mark up the positive end, otherwise that could end in tears, couldn't it? So let's just put a blob of red on here. There we go. There's no getting that around the wrong way now. Just to double check. Stripe, yep, that's good. Insert that inside my can. And then spend a little bit of time just tapping that home and crimping it back up again. I think that looks all right. Okay, so I am going to need to take that bottom capacitor out now, and just the rubber, it's got rubber wiring on it. It looks pretty horrible from here. So yeah, I need to undo that screw, and of course that's facing the wrong way. Might just, no, we should be able to get that out, shouldn't we? Let's put the set back on its feet and just look at getting that screw undone and ease that capacitor out. Which one is it? Yes, it's this one. Right, okay. So we've got a clamp there and another nut. Just want to do this one before we go and refit the other. Is that going to come loose? Yep, it's loose. Okay. Right. Ooh. Sit that back over there for a second. See if we can't push this capacitor out the front. Yep, it's coming. There we go. Cool, it just clears the mask. Oh, this wiring's rotten in here. February 1950. It's 1950 then. Okay. 250 microfarads at 350 volts. So that capacitor must have been in there in storage for 2 years before it got fitted to a set. Oh, it's just not clearing the clamp. So that wire there goes back to our other capacitor up there. So that needs to be changed anyway. Although it isn't too bad. It's gone brittle in one place. So we need to change that wire regardless. There's two orange wires. One darts off somewhere. The other one goes up through the deck to the top, which I think connects to the inductor. So we've got two oranges, and then that one that's going to our new capacitors. Yeah, it's odd. Is this a double capacitor? I need to go and have a look. I don't think it is, but I wonder why we've got sort of two positives coming in. That doesn't really make any sense to my mind at the minute. Maybe we need to go and have a look at the diagram. I'm going to cut that wire in half. I'm changing it anyway, so I'm just going to snip that one in half. We'll find a suitable bit of something to go in there. That one's got to go, and that one's got to go, so I'm just going to cut them all, I think. Is there another one? Let's get a pair of tweezers, see if I can work out what's going on down there. Phew, all dust and detritus falling out of place. That's the one I've cut. No, it's two orange wires. Okay, I'm just going to snip them. They've got to be changed anyway. So I'm just going to cut them out and renew them from both ends. Make a job of it. It's not bulged, is it? Do I dare reform it? What's the worst that can happen? I am a little bit confused as to why that's ground. Oh, I suppose it could be, yeah. Okay. Let's put the dreadnought on it. See, well, let's measure it first, just for giggles. What's it supposed to be? 250 microfarads. .187 at 0.26. Let's get the dreadnought on it and see what happens. Let's go with a maximum of, say, 100 volts to start with. I'm going to keep it just at that setting there. You can't see that there. We're on about 100 microamps, look. So we're just going to let that sit and cook for a few minutes and see if that improves. Doesn't look like it is, does it? A very low amount of current though. What are we at? 3.6 volts. Well, let's let it sit there. Just let it sit there for a few minutes and we'll see what happens. Right, come back in a bit. Future Editing Doz here, and you'll need to pop back next week to find out if that capacitor, or any of them for that matter, are any good, as the Bush TV12 needs a lot of work. And yeah, this video's gone on for too long already. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I'll see you soon here on Doz's Television Workshop. Cheers now, bye.
At Doz's Workshop, gaze at love. CRT screens, the static shock. Soul the burns with steady